right, and we are live. Welcome everybody to our show on why you should be upgrading and looking at the NewTek NDI.
Yes, we have a very special guest here, Zane Cauldron from NewTek, right from the source himself. We were unable to make the show yesterday due to snow, but we're back and ready to stream today.
Yes, so test your microphone on, double check that. The NewTek NDI, it's not just a new kind of cable using Ethernet to do transfer of video and audio. It's a whole new kind of universe. So we're going to be talking about all that and more coming up next. As soon as we play our intro clip.
PTZ Optics presents Back to the Basics Live. Every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. A high-definition broadcast on Facebook, focusing on camera line tutorials with our Chief Screening Officer, Paul Richards, and our social media manager, Tess Protesto. Back to the Basics Live. New videos every Wednesday.
All right, everybody. So today we're talking about the NewTek NDI. It's already available on our PTZ Optics cameras as either a firmware update or a complete camera.
Yeah, we're so thrilled to have recently implemented the NewTek NDI HX.
Microphone?
Great new feature.
Is it on?
Oh, yeah, I'm on now.
Okay.
A great new feature for PTZ Optics camera users.
All right, so IP technology is something that you already have. So everything can see everything when we start putting cameras on the NewTek NDI, whether you're using vMix, whether you're using Wirecast, Open Broadcast software, XSplit, whether you're using Skype, GoToMeeting, or WebEx, all these now video sources, camera sources can connect together. And I'm so excited to have Zane Cauldron from NewTek on the call with us. Hi, Zane. How you doing?
Guys, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How about you?
Great, thanks.
Still digging out from that snowstorm?
Yes, we had a huge snowstorm here on the East Coast, and it set us a little bit back, but Tess is going to be monitoring the chat, so she's on YouTube and Facebook. She's going to be showing up your questions live, so Cameron Granger loves hearing about NDI. We're really going to geek out about NDI today, so let's start with a little trivia. So we're going to ask you guys 9 questions throughout this broadcast. Whoever wins gets to spin the wheel and potentially win a PTZ Optics camera. So Tess, why don't we start with a very basic question? I'm hoping most of you guys know this one. And let's jump into a little bit of fun trivia to see what you guys think.
Should we send them to the link?
Yes. Oh, good point.
Yeah.
So go to streamgeeks.live.
Streamgeeks.live is I know this is PTZ Optics, but that's where we have it set up. So head to streamgeeks.live to participate today in the live trivia. And hopefully we'll be giving away another free camera just like we did last show. So excited for that, guys. Just wait a few moments here for everybody to have a chance to hop on, and then we'll begin the fun. I'm still having complaints about my mic. My mic is on.
It just did it.
So I'm not sure exactly what's going on there.
There we go. All right, sorry about that. Not sure what was going on there.
Was that about my mic?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's back on.
Small technical difficulty, perfect timing because we're waiting for everybody to hop on for today's trivia. So remember streamgeeks.live for those of you hopping on. And I think that we should be good to start the trivia here. Question numero uno. Who is the chief architect behind the NewTek NDI? Is it A, Martin Sinclair, B, Dr. Andrew Cross, C, Dr. Andrew Haley, D, Dr. Tim Vandenberg, or E, Dr. Tom Sinclair?
Yes. Oh, you added doctor for Tom Sinclair.
Well,
That's
you
an
had a
easy
doctor.
one.
Oh, you almost had a doctor for everyone else. So I figured I would give him that status.
So let's see. Let's see how many people
I know
are
he's in the
answering
chat,
this one.
so.
Okay. Ooh, one person thought it was Martin Sinclair. Joker.
Andrew Cross seems to be in the lead, rightfully so. Dr. Andrew Cross.
Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, Kyle in first place.
Kyle holding the lead.
Woo.
Now remember, this is time sensitive, so you want to make sure that you rush as fast as you can to get these answers in because timing does matter.
Streamgeeks.live, guys. You'll have another chance. We're gonna have 9 questions throughout the broadcast.
Oh, we're gonna spread them
We're
out
gonna
a
spread
little
out
bit.
the
Fun.
questions
I like
throughout
that.
the show, so that'll be fun. All right, so that was our first question. Now we have a presentation that we're going to go over today, and we're going to talk a little bit about troubleshooting because I know a lot of this IP technology is new.
Yeah, a lot of production professionals are beginning to consider making the change to an IP workflow.
And that change in that process of moving from, let's say, traditional SDI, HDMI, the traditional cables that we're all used to, now requires a little bit of networking knowledge. Now, NewTek has made it a lot easier. Zane, for your customers out there, what is it like transitioning from SDI, HDMI over to the NewTek NDI over all over IP?
Well, it's fairly easy. You can really get started by downloading the free NDI tools on our website. It appears my video has frozen.
Well, let's transition to our presentation, and we'll at least get you by audio throughout this process. There you go.
So I'm back, I think. NDI is really easy to get started with. You can simply download the free tools from our website. That gives you some sources, whether that's NDI test pattern generator or even using VLC to play back clips directly into NDI. And then using our NDI Studio monitor, you can then monitor that anywhere on your network. And really, once people see that, it really changes the game for them. Then they realize that, hey, I don't need this really expensive SDI baseband router, that my existing gigabit network already works and can transport video along with other things in the NDI ecosystem today.
Very interesting. And Mike, I realized we actually didn't have Tessa's mic plugged in. So that third XLR, that's Tessa's channel in case you need to edit her audio.
Oh.
Yeah, that was my fault. We just got done a mobile broadcast and we still use our audio mixer and microphones when we go mobile. And then we bring them back and forth, so that's my fault. But let's go to our presentation. We're going to ask you guys some questions about trivia coming up soon, but let's start with our presentation, Michael. I got a quick little presentation about why you should be considering upgrading your PTZ Optics camera to NDI. And Tess will maybe read out the comments as we throw them out there.
Absolutely.
So here we go. Introduction to IP video using the NewTek NDI. So one of the cool things about this is that we may never need to use SDI and RS-232, the traditional serial cabling, ever again. There's going to be generations of video producers who don't even know what SDI is in the next few years because it's becoming almost obsolete in certain cases, and we'll talk about that. First of all, just briefly, what is a local area network? A local area network is where the NDI really lives. That's all of our computers and cables all connecting to a network switch, and we're suggesting a gigabit Ethernet switch, usually managed, is ideal so that we can upgrade to multicast and enable IGMP snooping. I know it might sound new to you, but we're just briefly touching on some of this stuff. IP video is really the way to transport video from your camera directly to, let's say, vMix, or Wirecast, or Livestream, or a NewTek TriCaster. Zane mentioned VLC, and even Open Broadcaster. So right from your camera over a single Ethernet cable directly to your
Can't beat
software.
that.
It's so nice. And now that the cameras have Ethernet, power over Ethernet, we can power the cameras, control the cameras, send video and audio from the cameras. It really makes life. You'd wonder why we had SDI and traditional serial cabling. Now, something to consider, a 10100 network can maybe handle a single stream of NDI. And I don't know if you want to jump in here, Zane, but NDI generally, requires about 100 megabits, correct?
Well, it's very frame rate and resolution independent. We typically don't recommend any full NDI traffic over 100 base network. Our HX devices, both the Kinect Spark and the NewTek PTZ1 camera, both operate on 100 megabit networks, but full NDI streams really do require a gigabit because depending on your source content, a 1080p, 60p stream could be 125 megabits, or a 4K stream could be something like 350 megabits per stream. So really it depends on the video format you're working in, but gigabit is definitely recommended.
Yeah, and you mentioned HX, which I think there's a question about NDI HX and what HX stands for. That stands for high efficiency. That might be in the trivia, it might not. But high efficiency is less bandwidth than the normal NDI signals. The normal NDI signals have a couple extra features with quality and with alpha channels. But let's go to our next slide here. We'll just kind of breeze through some of these things to consider. Simulcasting is the ability to stream to YouTube and to Facebook. And this is something that I think a lot of people using the NewTek NDI are going to start realizing what they can do. For example, if you're using, let's say you're using Wirecast and you have 3 computers with Wirecast. Now they can all share their sources together. And you could use one Wirecast computer to send titles in Spanish, another title to send them in Chinese, and another computer to send them in English. So there's a whole lot of simulcasting that can be done from different computers connected over your local area network using the NDI, and that's one of my favorite use cases. But there's a couple more we'll go over. Here's an example of a church using the NewTek NDI, and a lot of churches that I've talked to, before they've even purchased a NewTek NDI camera or a TriCaster or anything like that, they've been using a presentation laptop to connect via NDI, and the presentation laptop is actually able to capture like PowerPoint slides, for example, and send them from the pastor's laptop over the NDI back to, let's say, vMix, for example, in a church. So that is a very popular solution. It helps with the iMag because you can have the HDMI plug directly from your laptop, pastor's laptop, into the projector, and then you're just basically taking the NDI feed from their laptop into your video production software.
Hey, Paul, I've gotten this question a couple times. If NDI is available with royalty-free license, why is there a charge to upgrade firmware on PTZ cameras?
Yes, and royalty-free is a good... is a very good, that is what the NDI is. It's not open source.
Okay.
So it's royalty free, meaning that you can build in, you can build this into your camera, your product, your software, your video, your platform, and it's royalty free. You don't have to pay royalties to NewTek. Now, for the cameras models on the market, like the PTZ Optics cameras, Panasonic cameras, we all had to invest in engineering time in order to build it into our products. So we're actually charging a premium for the engineering time to support it. NewTek is royalty free for us. We don't have to, pay royalties. It's a royalty free product. Okay, so so here's just an example of Game Show, Open Broadcaster, StreamStar, TriCaster, all the different softwares that will integrate directly into your NDI solution, like the PTZ Optics NDI cameras. This next slide will show you on the web conferencing side, GoToMeeting, WebEx, Hangouts. Let's just go through this quickly because I want to get into the interview with Zane and really dig into some of these. But let's go to our next trivia question at this point before we jump into the specifics of the NDI cameras in PTZ Optics. So we got another question. Just go to streamgeeks.live and we are ready for question number 2. Someone's going to win a spin at the wheel, so we'll see.
Link is in the YouTube chat. The NewTek NDI, is generally used, is for what type of networking environment? Is it A, wide area network, B, public internet, C, local area network, or D, intranet? Internet? What's intranet?
Why don't you mute Zane until we're ready to talk to him?
He is muted.
He is? Okay, good. All right then. Everyone got that one. Everyone got that one right.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Who did it the fastest?
Who did it the fastest?
Local area network, and the leaderboard still has Kyle.
Kyle, he's not only does he know his stuff, he's fast. All right, good job, Kyle. Chad
Question for
Lafard
NewTek
coming
already.
into. Oh, we got a
John
question
Thompson.
for NewTek.
When will NewTek be fixing the driver signature and secure boot issue with the NDI virtual driver?
Ooh, that's a question for Zane. If you want to take that one, Zane. If you want to take it later on, that's fine too.
Yeah, I can answer that now. Microsoft requires that all the system drivers be signed when you're running in secure boot mode. At the moment, the NewTek audio driver that comes with HX is not signed. At this time, I don't really have an announcement on when that will be addressed, but for the moment, we recommend running in with secure boot off.
Got it.
Okay.
Very interesting. I didn't even know about that. So
No, neither did
the
I.
audience sometimes knows a good bit more than we do. We will go over some of the problem-solving, troubleshooting stuff that we've been learning about.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go into a presentation. We'll finish this up. We want to give everyone a good idea of why to upgrade to the NewTek NDI. The 50% off promo is over, sadly. But let's go into our presentation. Boom! All right. So SDI models upgrading to NDI. There was a limited time promotion for $300. That's now over. I'm sorry to say. It's $600 to upgrade your cameras to NDI, or you can purchase them already with NDI for $21.99. The traditional workflow was that every camera, and even in our studio now, every camera is plugged in via SDI. And that's the traditional workflow, and you have all of these separate systems that aren't sharing their resources.
And now it all is run from your switcher. All the cameras are on the network, and then you pull them via Ethernet into your computer.
Yes. And so not only is the advanced IP workflow allowing every switcher to have access to every camera, but there's even more. This is not just switchers. This is any Windows computer, any Mac computer, usually with an i5 processor or faster, can now somehow grab control of a PTZ camera.
Magic.
Yeah, it's like we don't really even know how they're doing it.
Somehow, but it does happen. We've seen it.
But everything can see everything. This is one of my favorite portions. A single Ethernet cable can be used for powering a PTZ optics camera, sending video, PTZ control, all over NDI. Here's just a couple of the video production tools I just want to briefly mention that you'll be able to use. One is called NDI Transmit, and that is now called the Virtual Camera app. And that allows you to turn any NDI camera with Ethernet into a USB available webcam. So if using with Skype or GoToMeeting or WebEx. The NDI ISO recorder allows you to have isolated recordings of each camera. It's kind of like the multi-quarter in vMix, allowing you to just basically record independent versions of each camera. And that can be done on any computer running that software, a Windows computer usually. The NDI video monitor is now called the NDI Studio Monitor because it has PTZ control, and that's we're going to look at. And then the NDI Telestrator, so I forgot I had this, allows you to draw and telestrate on top of anything. So
That'll remind you.
very cool stuff. Let's take a couple examples here. So the NDI NewTek Transmit app. This is one of my favorites. And this is something, not everyone's going to have this many PTZ cameras. This is kind of
I don't
crazy.
even think we even have that many in here.
We don't even have that
Close,
many.
but no.
But let's say you've got room A. I'll use blue for this. You've got room 2. You've got room 3, 4. Maybe you've got a couple in a studio over here. You've got another studio. If you've got multiple, you got the million studios. And let's say you're on a video call with your producer in Los Angeles, and you can actually bring them into Skype and choose, okay, I want to bring this camera in to show him Studio A. Oh, look, there's a studio going on in B I want to bring in now. Oh, let's switch to over here. So now your GoToMeeting system, without any additional cabling, can connect to all these different systems. Don't make me put bunny ears on you, Tess.
I know. I mean, you never know what might happen.
So that's the NewTek Transmit. It's now called the Virtual Video Input. It's included for free with all of the NDI HX cameras. So it's a really
Beautiful.
cool tool. One more example is, let's say we do have, let's say the example of 4 cameras, maybe 8. That would be kind of in the middle of what most people have. Let's say we want to control or record all of these independently. NewTek gives you a 2-camera ISO recording app for free and up to 16 cameras for $9.95. So a very great, easy way. I also know that vMix has also integrated their multi-quarter to support NDI cameras, and I believe Wirecast has as well. I don't believe that OBS or XSplit have multi-quarter options. The video monitor is one of my favorites, and this is an interesting one because this is our IP joystick, but technically you can also plug in an Xbox controller. That's my Xbox controller, not very super advanced. But now you can take control of any camera, any of these million cameras. So if you want to add a camera operator to your video production, you just plop down another computer, plug in a USB Xbox controller, and now they can take control of any of your NDI PTZ cameras. So it's very cool. That's one of my favorites. And then the Telestrator, which you can see I'm using now, very fun, fun application. It works with all the NDI technology. There it is, being used for football, which is one of my favorites. If Studio B is on a different VLAN and your switcher is on will NDI work? Do you want to take that one, Zane?
Absolutely, Paul. We have built-in functionality into NDI, allowing you to essentially cross a subnet because those devices are on separate networks. Using NDI Access Manager on your receive side, you can tell it the IP address of the device you want to pull across the subnet, and it will go out across your network and pull in that NDI stream.
Mike, can we show this? Because this is a very common troubleshooting thing. I actually have prepared, Zane, a little troubleshoot. I printed out your troubleshooting guide, and right here you can see this is gonna. Maybe you could, Zane, you can explain this, but essentially we've got subnet number 1, which is 192.168.1.12. Let's say I think that's just a tablet. For example, we've got a computer over here, 192.168.129, and then we've got a router in between, right? So here's our firewall, here's our router, and the NDI communication is going over port 5960. And then we've got these NDI channels, which I don't know if you want to explain that, Zane. This is something even beyond what I know. I just printed out this NewTek NDI troubleshooting guide.
Sure. So when you are crossing subnets using Access Manager, it's important to know that you're going to need port 5960 open for the NDI, what we call the NDI messaging server to run, which allows the devices to communicate. Once you have that port open, for every video stream that you're going to pull across from another subnet, you need to open up a port starting at 5961. So that means if I want to pull 8 channels from a different subnet, I'll need ports 5961 through 5969 open on my network firewall and available for use in the router as well.
I see. Very interesting. So that's what this was. This seems to be one of the main basic kind of NDI networking questions that you probably get asked quite a bit.
Very often get questions about crossing subnets. Many customers will have dedicated production LANs that they, in the past, they've never really brought outside devices into, but now with NDI, they can bring in laptops to show off web pages in productions or presentations like you guys are doing, and having the ability to interface their quote-unquote corporate network with their production network is something that NDI Access Manager allows them to do.
So cool. None of this stuff was possible just a couple years ago. Can you believe that?
I mean, I've only been here for a year, and already it's
So-
blowing my mind.
So let me mention a project that I've been recently involved with. The guys over at the Weather Company, they run the weather.com and all the video for the apps. They just built out a new studio with 0 SDI connections in their physical plant.
Wow.
Everything is done over NDI. That's powering 2 studios with giant video boards in them, prompters, everything over NDI.
Wow.
Yeah, you really have to see it, Tess. This will be your first time at NAB, but they have like everything running over NDI. Even in the NAB Experience Center, you'll see they've got like message boards powered over NDI, and it's just crazy.
That'll be interesting.
So let's do another. Let's go through a couple trivia questions. We've already gone through 2. Maybe we can do 2 more.
Okay.
Because I think we covered a lot of content. I think it's smarter for us to cover content, ask the trivia questions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
People, if you're
Be
listening
refreshed
and
on
actually
some things.
paying attention, then you should be able to get a few of these. So we'll go over to our quiz, our trivia quiz. Kyle's in the lead. Chad Lafarge is in number 2, and Akeem is tied. Not far behind, Jeff and Richard.
All right, guys. Question 3. NDI stands for what? Is it New Device Interaction, Network Device Innovation, Next Device Interface, or Network Device Interface?
I like that NewTek logo there. It's kind of like darken the scene with the trademark.
All right, guys.
And we have 16 people getting that one right. That is not a savage question. That's 94% getting that one right. Good job, guys. It's Network Device Interface. Kyle, so quick. He's like the quick shooter.
Haha,
Chad Lafarge
Kyle's
at
still
2.
in the lead.
Jeff jumping up into 3. Is that Jeff Adams?
I'm not sure.
I guess we'll find out in the chat.
It might
Jeff,
be.
let us know who you are because we want to know a little more.
Kyle, you are making enemies.
Oh, Kyle. It's supposed to be friendly competition, folks.
No, everybody's being friendly. I mean, there's monetary bets on
Oh.
Kyle at this point. I saw $500 being thrown around.
Whoa. Is Zay muted?
It should be.
Okay, good.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So next.
Jeff Harkins.
Jeff Harkins. Let's do our next. Okay. Is the NewTek NDI open source?
True or false?
We did cover
we had
this.
a good covering on this, so you should know this.
This
Who
was
got
something.
it quickly?
This was a common
There's only 2
misconception,
options.
though.
You could answer that.
It's a
pretty
common
fast.
misconception. If that doesn't give it away.
This is probably why I'm always getting yelled at. Why does this cost money?
Ah.
All right. False.
False.
Okay.
It is not open source. It is royalty free.
Kyle's still in the lead. He knew that one too.
Woo! He's quick draw.
Here we go, number 5.
Yeah, let's go through-
Alrighty.
we'll go through one more and then we'll save the last
One
few.
more question. The NewTek NDI was publicly revealed in what year? Is it A, 2014, B, 2015, C, 2016, or D, 2017?
I found this on Wikipedia. It was revealed
What
at
a
the
reliable
IBC
source.
show, yeah, I know, right? The International
it's
Broadcast Convention in Amsterdam, Netherlands, over in Europe. It was. Oh, people got this one wrong, I think.
Ooh.
Oh, savage question.
Yes. Savage question.
Yeah, why guy, eh?
Savage question.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, why guy, eh?
All right, what was it, Mike?
Alright.
It was 2015, I think. Oh, Akeem comes up. What was the answer? 2015. Oh,
2015.
savage question. Akeem jumps into the lead.
Wow, Akeem.
Oh, Akeem
It's
jumping
a tough
in.
one
Wow.
today.
Okay. So, a little bit left in our presentation. I wanted to go over a little bit of troubleshooting with Zane, because I think our presentation's almost complete.
Some
if I'm
common
correct.
questions that we've been getting.
Yeah, let's go over our Q&A, our questions.
Okay.
Maybe we should even roll the credits and then...
We could do that. It's up to you.
I don't think there's any reason to roll the credits just
Got
yet.
like 9 more slides.
9 more slides. All right, let's go
9
over the
slides?
last few slides.
All right.
Tess is like, Slide City. Here's an
I love
interesting
slides.
one. Pizzazz. Okay, this is so one of the cool things about NewTek and their NAB booth is they have an NAB Experience Center, and all these companies from around the world that support NDI, like Mimo Live, which I was just playing with a couple days ago. We're gonna have them on the show tomorrow. Mac only.
What is that?
That's a Mac Mini.
Oh,
Yeah, it's mini.
that's a computer?
It's a computer, yeah. But the Pizzazz is an interesting product that takes NDI and outputs HDMI. So if you want to power a display with an NDI source, that's a cool one. So you'll see a lot of that at NAB. But this is just kind of what I want to end on is considering the cost savings of 100 foot of HD SDI cable is $189, so almost $200. 100 foot of RS-232 cable is $100.
This is an interesting way of laying it out.
So $300 for the cabling. A frame grabber is usually $300 if you want to bring that into a computer.
Capture
And
card.
a joystick is $300.
That is a good way to think about it, Paul.
So when we're looking at all that, we're looking at $1,000 of cabling. That's, if we could just do that with one Ethernet
So
cable.
are the NDI cameras that much more expensive?
Yeah.
That's up in the air.
So something to think about. The next slide, I think, drives it home a little bit more. If you do have 4 cameras, now, instead of 4 cameras and a 4 card PCIe card and a joystick, you could save over $2,000 with NDI cameras. Now, NDI cameras do have a price tag on them too, so it's a you guys make the right decision for your studio, but we're just throwing out some numbers to help you budget. So that was really it. That's really it for the presentation. So what should we do, Tess? Should we finish up the trivia, or should we answer questions, or should we go over some of the troubleshooting?
You're the boss around here.
What do you think, Zane?
We can go over some troubleshooting steps if you'd like.
Okay. All right, then. Well, how about this, Tess? Throw in any questions that you want. We'll try to naturally answer
This
them with our
Pizzazz device.
troubleshooting.
Keep getting questions about.
The Pizzazz NDI
Zane.
to HDMI looks awesome for sending video to an overflow room, but where can I buy one? Google it. I believe last
Zane,
time.
is that out yet? I've never heard of it.
There he
Hey,
is.
sorry, I keep freezing. But yeah, you can contact Pizzazz directly, pizzazz.com. They're based out of Beaumont, Texas, and they would be able to talk to you about the NDI to HDMI converter.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. They were at NAB last year. It's got to be shipping at this point. I don't have one, but. So we'll answer some questions, and then PTZ Optics has an NDI troubleshooting guide specific to our cameras, and then NewTek has an NDI troubleshooting guide, and we were just
Got this
talking about
question
some of that
from Jim,
subnet
too.
stuff as an answer to a question. So, can a Canon or Sony camera be supported over NDI with my PTZ Optics camera? I can answer that one if you want, Zane.
Sure.
So there's 2 different products on the market today that will convert an HDMI or an HD-SDI source to NDI. And that is, one is the Bird Dog, which is a really great product. It takes SDI or HDMI in. It supports Tally and TalkBack. And I believe it's like $6.99, $7.99. NewTek also has a product that's called the Spark. And I believe that's available in HDMI and SDI versions. Or is it just HDMI, Zane?
It's available in both HDMI and HDSDI.
Yeah, and those actually work over Wi-Fi. That's using the NDI HX technology, which stands for high efficiency. There might be a question on that in the trivia. But that is the current way, unless there's something else saying, to connect a traditional camera and make it NDI.
Well, the other method is using the NewTek Connect line of conversion appliances. We offer both a 4-channel and an 8-channel bidirectional that does HDSDI to NDI, and then NDI back to HDSDI as well. And those are standalone. Those don't require a TriCaster. Those run standalone and just make all of their sources available via NDI. There's also the NewTek Connect and NewTek Connect Pro software applications that do translation using capture cards to NDI as well, and vice versa. And Connect Pro can even do things like translate RTMP and HLS web streams into NDI sources. And there's actually a free version of that available and a pro version available.
Yes. I thank you for that full explanation, because I forgot about the in and out systems that you provide, and then the software as well. You're right. So that answers that question quite into detail. Finish up the trivia?
All right, let's
think?
finish up the
I'll
trivia.
finish up the trivia. We're getting a lot of great questions for you, Zane, so we'll answer those along the way. And we got to cover these troubleshooting guides.
This one might make or break things around here. How much bandwidth does a typical NDI HX video stream consume?
Oh, we didn't cover this today, so you'd have to know. I think we roughly did talk about it. High efficiency, not the normal pure NDI, if you will. You have to be following us to know this one.
We have had this question before,
It has
right?
been, yeah, it's been out before, so we're making sure everyone knows.
The fight between B
Oh.
and D.
That's almost a savage
Majority
question,
rules.
Majority rules on that one. We're talking about NDI HX, the high efficiency version. Akeem stays in the lead.
Akeem stays in the lead.
Wow.
All right,
It's
look, are we
great to
spinning
know.
for Akeem today then?
How many questions are left?
3.
We still got 3 questions.
Oh, okay.
So let's drop maybe 2 more. Let's finish it up. And then we can spin. Okay.
Number 7, this type of cable can power a PTZ Optics camera, send video, and control a PTZ. A SDI, B Ethernet, C RS-232, or D RS-422.
This is I think crucial to the thought of this whole thing is what cables can do what and why.
Alrighty. What is taking the lead here? Oh, everybody got it right.
All right.
Almost. It is B Ethernet.
B Ethernet. Akeem stays in the lead, but it's close.
Holding strong, Kyle inching
I don't know who
up.
put $500 on Kyle, but there's no betting on this show, so
Number 8.
Number 8, this type of cable can be run 100 meters and still transmit 1080p video.
longer than 100.
Longer than 100 meters. Ethernet, SDI, RS-232, or Visca.
SDI. Okay, congratulations. Akeem stays in the lead. Woohoo!
One more.
There's still one more?
Number 9.
All right,
Last
number 9,
question,
last
guys.
question.
So,
The NewTek NDI is a PTZ camera control protocol. True or false?
NDI as its own PTZ camera control protocol built in.
True or false?
Ooh,
Ooh, this one's
savage
a tough
question. Doo-doo-doo. It's true. NDI is a PTC camera control protocol at this point. Zane, do you want to chime in on that one? Because that's kind of new. I hope I'm right in saying that, but I was under the impression that the NDI is now its own kind of standardized protocol. Kyle jumps in the
So
lead. Sorry.
NDI provides the ability to control PTZ cameras using that connection. It's not so much a protocol in itself, but that's mainly semantics.
So what does that mean for us then?
Yeah. I mean, when we had Andrew Cross on our show, he was saying how, the NDI is basically becoming a protocol to, because everyone's got different ones. Sony has one, PTZ Optics has one, Panasonic has one, and Vadio has one. And so NewTek is actually taking all these different ones and kind of standardizing on its own. We can call it the NDI protocol. So I guess that means Kyle is...
That's another way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, it's in general, it includes a PTZ functionality that I would call it a protocol because it's taking multiple different protocols into one. But that brings Kyle into the lead. Is that so?
Everyone's pissed.
Kyle jumps into the lead. All right, that means we're going to spin the wheel for Kyle. Any questions we get for Zane, and then we'll do the troubleshooting. Dang, Kyle. Okay. That looking good?
Yeah.
Higher? Oh, it doesn't go any higher than that. All right. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Akeem.
Sorry, Akeem. All right, this is for you, Kyle.
Good luck, Kyle.
What is that?
What is that?
Oh, the 4K capture card! Yay!
Capture card.
All right, so we're going to send you a 4K capture card.
That is so
Congratulations, Kyle, constantly winning on our show. Well, I'm glad to know we've got somebody who's got a lot of knowledge about this stuff.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to make the questions harder.
Maybe.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so Tess, how are we doing on questions? And then I want to go through with Zane really quickly about resolving some NDI issues. I know this stuff comes up, and I'd rather have you guys be prepared and know about it than not. Is there such thing as an NDI hotkey app?
I'm not sure exactly what they're referring to. NDI Studio Monitor supports keyboard shortcuts for controlling PTZ cameras. That may be in reference to what they're asking about.
I'm sure it's camera hotkeys, no?
Yeah, I would imagine he could in more detail, but even OBS, the Open Broadcaster software, which is completely free, can take in an unlimited amount of NDI sources essentially, and they support hotkeys. So you can take in NDI sources, you can send out NDI sources, and you can use hotkeys. And that software, OBS, it's called the OBS Project, is available for free for Mac, Windows, or Linux. So if you're looking for a way to switch cameras, NDI cameras with hotkeys, I would definitely suggest checking out OBS.
So I saw that there was a question about interfacing audio mixers with NDI. So again, that's where that Connect line of conversion appliances comes into use. They either have support embedded SDI audio or analog audio, or using Dante audio over IP, you can directly interface that with either a TriCaster itself or a Connect input module, and it'll translate Dante audio into NDI and vice versa.
Very good. Yeah, and Dante is very great. I didn't know you supported Dante. Is that new?
Dante, we've supported Dante for a couple years now.
Oh.
We first put it into our talk show Skype box because Dante is gaining traction very fast in the audio world. In many aspects, the world of audio production is much further down the path of IP than video is yet. Video is quickly catching up, but Dante was definitely a leader in moving audio to IP.
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with it. I didn't realize it was supported with the NDI. That's awesome. So I'm going to take a look at this troubleshooting guide really quickly. And if anyone has specific PTZ Optics troubleshooting, we have this whole guide available on ptzoptics.com/downloads. But one of the things, so we talked about transversing, multiple subnets, but resolving an issue, a lot of times it comes down to your local area network router or switch. And you have to make sure that you must permit communication using the ports assigned to NDI. And so although most common networks don't block the MDNS ports, it's uncommon for networks to be configured to block a high number of ports, so that would prevent NDI. So I've actually never had an issue with NDI not working because of port blockage, but I'm guessing it happens from time to time, and it's just something to know about. Similarly, software-based firewalls, if you have a firewall on your network, it may actually block some of the ports using NDI as well, so just something to think about. It's best to first test with the firewalls off, and if it's all going through and then you turn the firewalls on, then we need to go into the firewall rules and take a look at it. This is some of that IP knowledge that something might be, it's a little different. Now, Wi-Fi routers often block multicast traffic as well. So think about that. A lot of Wi-Fi routers do. Now, our Wi-Fi router from Ubiquiti actually supports multicast traffic. That's why I can be pulling in our Telestrator app here and get a full HD video of this with no problem. But when it comes to Wi-Fi, a lot of Wi-Fi services do not support multicast. It just floods the network.
Are the already NDI installed cameras shipping yet?
They are now out and they are shipping. You'd have to email partners@ptzoptics.com to know about exact stock. There are some out there. I know some of our distributors have them. So they're out there and they're shipping.
NDI and lag with sports coverage.
Sports, I know, is a very difficult place where you can't really have a lot of lag time. Tell us about that, Zane.
Very low latency. So the actual encode stage only has 16 lines of latency. Typically, transversing across your subnet, that ends up being, or across your network, that ends up being about 1 frame of latency from the lens to when it reaches your destination, which is plenty acceptable for sports coverage. And the key thing is that if you have multiple camera angles all covering the same event, that it stays in temporal sync, so everything happens at the same time. And that's all taken care of part of the NDI protocol. There's a large number of NDI-based sports productions happening globally these days.
That's good to know. This
great
one's
to
more
know.
for us.
What are the new
If you,
features?
uh,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention ESPN ended up using NDI-based production for their Bahamas Bowl coverage.
Wow.
That happens every year in the Bahamas. So it's pretty ubiquitous in sports.
So Martin's asking, what are the new features for the PTZ Optics cameras
Upgrade.
outside of NDI? So the firmware upgrade.
Yeah.
So the new firmware upgrade, it makes our cameras NDI ready. Still have to have a license that's purchased through the NewTek store, but it still has a lot of cool new stuff. I have a list. If you can
Focus
type it into
presets.
Drive. So yeah, that's a good one. In the Drive, if you type in, I don't know, changelog, there is a whole list of things that it's on our blog as well. But one of the biggest ones is the first 10 presets of PTZ Optics cameras now save the focus. So we had to play around with this test because we're having a new camera installed, kind of like an over-the-shoulder camera, and I'd love to see that focus pull. You know, maybe the camera
I have it
itself doesn't change presets very much, move, pan, tilt, and zoom, but just the focus changes. So there's a lot of more better focus control. We also added 720p or 720p at 120 frames per second for super slow motion instant replay. What else did we add? There's a whole changelog. Were you able to find it on the Drive?
Yes.
All right, read it off.
Okay, 720p at 120 frames per second for PTZ SDI models only. Video plugin and IP GUI now works in Internet Explorer via dropdown.
Oh yeah, that was
Web
a good one.
GUI image settings impact on-screen display settings. New
Nice.
IR shortcut for DHCP. Remove DH hot pixel from noise reduction in OSD. And added auto scan shoot and setup in OSD. An IP address settings tool is now a different version as well.
Yes, we have a new version of the IP address settings tool, which is really handy. It allows you to have a preview of the cameras, only in Windows, unfortunately, at this point, but also pan, tilt, and zoom the cameras. So a little PTZ app that allows you to have live preview of all of your cameras in a drop-down menu. That's essentially what we added. A lot of fixes, a lot of things we're still working on. What does this one say, Tess?
This one says, does the PTZ NDI camera have variable pan tilt speed with the controller?
Every time I've seen it used, the camera moves so fast, just curious. So there's two different controllers that are mainly used with our cameras. We have an IP controller and a serial controller. Both of them have variable speed control. The serial controller, depending on how the joystick itself, depending on how hard you push it, will change the speeds. You can go very slow, very fast. On the IP joystick, there's a speed button, and you can go speed 1, 2, 3. We're working on a firmware upgrade / new version of the IP joystick that's going to have more speed levels. There's, I think, 3 or 4 speed
Thank
levels
you,
on
Matt,
the
in
IP
the
joystick.
chat.
We're looking to add more speed levels. And then finally, now since we're talking about NDI, the new NDI cameras can be controlled with the NDI Studio monitor, and that has a variable speed control using our IP Visca protocol, which has a lot more control. So you can actually use an Xbox joystick, USB joystick plugged into your Windows computer running the NDI Studio monitor, and it can really go from very, very, very slow to fast quickly. So I was happy about that because that's really the way to do it with the Visca over IP. Great job, NewTek. As you can see, we've got a live YouTube subscriber counter here. So if you're out there and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and you'll see it go to 7162. We always appreciate you guys subscribing. You don't become a video production expert overnight, and these types of interviews and reviews really help. And just subscribing is just going to keep you in the loop. What's this one say, Tess?
Is there an NDI viewer and monitor in that makes for Linux?
Ooh, that's a good question, Zane.
The answer is yes. We're not the ones making it. It's being developed by a third party. But I would suggest you stop by forums.newtek.com, and you can find out more there about that NDI studio monitor for Linux.
Thank you to those 2 subscribers out there. Let us know who you are. We're always love to learn who our new subscribers and new viewers are. We're at
Thank you.
63. Thank you, guys. I wonder who that was. 'Cause
Yeah.
we're always
Let us know who you are. And
get out there and
Sean,
learn those
we're
new
going to be in
guys.
Central Hall, booth C9945. Where's NewTek going to be at NAB?
We're going to be in South Lower. I think it's booth 5016. 5016. And right next to the New Tech booth is going to be NDI Central,
Cool.
where there's going to be 14 different developers showing off NDI-based products. The vMix booth is close by as well. There'll be NDI all over the convention center during NAB. I think Bird Dog's over in Central Hall, closer to you guys, showing off their SDI to NDI converters. So I think NDI is definitely going to be the talk of NAB this year.
Yeah, certainly.
It was last year. So this year's just going to be even more, obviously.
Greg, thank you. And
Greg?
Kay Scammon.
Thank you,
Scam on.
guys. We appreciate
Scam
it.
on.
Oh, we got another one, 64.
Yay.
Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. And we love to learn the newbies too, because we're hoping that you'll join our Facebook user group and
Daniel.
we'll get to know you a little better.
What is this called again?
This is called another one, 65. This is called the Lametric app, and I
Lametric.
love this thing because it actually. So there's the time. If you want to know the time of day, that's our Facebook. Here's our YouTube, or here's our Facebook. So that's our Facebook likes. Here's our YouTube, and you can actually send messages directly to it. So sometimes Tess will be like working from home and just randomly send a message like, "What's going on?" Ha ha ha, with a poop emoji. Who uses poop emojis?
I wasn't the one that sent the poop emoji. I don't know what you're
That
talking
was
about.
me, and that was totally inappropriate. Oh, we lost one.
Yeah, that's because of what Paul just said.
Oh my gosh, don't talk about poop emojis. Obviously, that's going to go down like 5. I'm sorry.
No. Jay Hota says, I unsubscribe and subscribe again to check the counter.
Oh, cool. So that's awesome. Yeah, it really does work. And we're getting something that's even cooler. I got to show this to you, Ryan, before you go. There's something called a Schmerl,
Yay!
which is, yay! The Schmerl is actually an old-fashioned Facebook counter. I cannot wait. It should be here next week. We're just playing with some fun stuff. But Zane, I don't want to take too much of your time. Is there anything in? See, look, Tessa's sending little Mario. And you can type a message in there.
I don't know how to do it sideways, though.
Watch, click it, and then hit send.
We'll do this in
All right,
the
we'll do it. We'll
post
do it
show.
another time in the post show. Zane, is there anything else you want to talk about in the troubleshooting guide, or should we let him go?
The only thing I will mention is we often have issues with people's laptops setting their network location to be public versus private. You definitely want to be running on private networks as far as Windows is concerned. And the only other thing I'll mention is I saw there was a question about NDI for Raspberry Pi. And while NDI is very software centric, right now the ARM platform in pretty much all the Raspberry Pis isn't capable of encoding or decoding NDI video and audio. But that may change, but not at this time.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and hopefully we can meet in person at NAB.
Yes, thanks for having
Cool.
me, and we'll definitely stop by and see you.
Vice versa.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you in person. Thank you so much for taking the time today, Zane. And we will see you guys next week. That's our show. Lots of fun stuff coming up. Thank you so much to our subscribers. We've got 4 more. We really appreciate it, guys. A lot of fun stuff coming up. So we will see you guys next week.